Hi everyone, Alana Corso, managing broker, co-founding partner of Dwell Realtors, coming to you this week to talk about a super important subject, estate planning, and why it's important to you. I'm interviewing a local estate planning attorney, Jessica Rowe, who's another San Carlos mom, who is an authority figure on the subject, and I think will present some awesome information and tidbits and takeaways for you. I hope you enjoy our interview. Thank you for joining me and being game for this shelter-in-place interview that we're doing via Zoom. I guess to kind of start off the bat, why do people need estate plans? Why is that important?
Well, I think when it comes to your assets, one of the main reasons why you want an estate plan is to prevent your assets to have to go through probate in the court when you pass away. It's a very long and expensive process, especially if you own real property, because you can avoid probate if you have $165,000 or less. I don't know any real property in California that's less than $165,000.
I don't think it exists.
You own real property, and not only that, there's statutory fees that both the administrator and the attorney get, which is a set percentage of the value of the estate.
Okay.
So I'd say, roughly $1 million estate, which would be like a house maybe. You would probably be looking at $40,000 or so between an administrator's fees and an attorney's fees.
Okay.
And that's for ordinary services, and it's mandatory off the top.
Okay.
Comparing that to the expense of a few $1,000s to draft an estate plan, why not? Also, a big reason people do trusts, as opposed to just wills, is for privacy. So when you have either probate dying without a will, or you die with a will and it has to be probated through the court, that's all public record. Everybody knows what you own and where it's going. When you have a trust, you don't have to have anything like that on public record. You do maybe have to lodge your original will that just says everything that I didn't put in my trust, I want to go by way of my trust. It doesn't say who gets what or what you have in that will. And it doesn't get filed on the open court. So a lot of people choose to do trusts in order to avoid costs, also because of the privacy.
Okay.
Another big reason why you should have an estate plan is if you're a parent. So if you're a parent and your children are minors and you pass away, then the court will need to appoint a guardian for your children. Even if only one parent passes away, if that child inherits money, that surviving parent still has to get appointed by the court as the guardian for their child. That's a common misconception. But I'm already the parent. Why can't I just manage my kid's money? It doesn't work that way. And then the second reason is if both parents pass away, it's in your will that you nominate a guardian who you want to take care of your children and manage their money until they reach the age of 18. It's a nomination, so it's not guaranteed that those are the people that are going to do it, but the court weighs heavily the opinion of the parents on who they would want to raise their children. And then the third reason why you need an estate plan is planning for incapacity. That's a lot of people don't realize that's so important. A lot of people think, well, an estate plan, it doesn't matter, I'll be dead, I'll be gone. Well, that doesn't always happen that way. It's not like you have capacity and then automatically pass away and then your assets go. It could be that you have, periods of incapacity, whether it's due to an accident or age, dementia, and you need someone else to manage your assets or your health care while you're still alive. So an entire estate plan looks like a trust, a pour-over will, powers of attorney for finance, which allows someone to manage your finances if you're incapacitated, and an advanced healthcare directive that allows someone to make medical decisions for you if you've lost the capacity to do so yourself.
Okay. Makes perfect sense. And I can see a lot in real estate where it is when you come into the incapacitation, when someone is elderly and they possibly are suffering from early onset dementia or, something. And that's where you can see where that power of attorney is super essential in helping them manage their assets and their affairs. So I totally get it. it's super important. When do you recommend people kind of set up an estate plan? Is there a magic age? Is there it's assets, it's anything north? Is it as soon as you accrue something worth north of 165,000 to avoid probate? Where do you say that trigger point happens?
So, I think that you can have different types of estate plans. I think as soon as you own real property and have children, you should have a trust, a will, and powers of attorney. If you don't own real property, you might be able to get away with just a will and putting all of your assets as best you can into accounts that have designated beneficiaries on them. If an account has a designated beneficiary, it doesn't go through probate. It automatically goes to a beneficiary on that person's passing. So if you don't own real property, there's a possibility just a will work. But most people that I come into contact with or come into my office have a home. And you absolutely should have a trust if you own real property.
Right.
The reason why if you have children, obviously, is what I talked about before with nominating a guardian. That's one of the things.
Is there anything else that you want to add or anything else we missed, you think?
I think the only other thing, so sometimes people will ask me, how should I find an attorney?
Oh yeah. Great. Yep.
I will say things to look for in an estate planning attorney. Obviously, a referral, like maybe a friend has seen them and had a good experience. It's always great. A lot of my business is from referrals, including referrals from like realtors or CPAs that I might have had other
professional relationships with.
Yeah. And then also, former clients. I have one client up in Woodside that just sent me all of her friends. She's so sweet. And I think, it's important, especially in trust and estates, if you find a specialist, I would prefer. So I am a specialist in trust and estates law. And it's kind of like you have to take a separately little mini bar and you've been practicing for so many years to hold yourself out as a specialist.
Right.
I personally think it's good to get a specialist. And you can find, whether usually from the bio online or Martindale Hubble, who's a specialist. I get a lot of clients through Nextdoor.
Oh, wow.
Because people will go on there and ask.
Yeah.
So
it's different than Yelp, that I feel like it's usually, hyper local to your neighborhood, depending on how you use Nextdoor. But I do think, it is people that are in your, very targeted geographic area, where Yelp feels a little bit bigger and broader.
Yeah. And I feel like people are more willing to help or more honest maybe on Nextdoor than maybe they are on Yelp.
Yeah.
So I've gotten clients that way. I think when you are deciding who you should go with, one feedback that I've received from clients that I think is really important is that I explained things to them in a way that they got it. To me, I would say a majority of my value to my estate planning clients is my ability to explain to them what the law is, what all their options are. And sometimes they'll come in with this idea of what they want, and I need to explain it in a way. I need to explain to them how I can get them what they want, or maybe also what might not be a good idea. Saying that you want to disinherit one kid because of X, Y, or Z. I'm able to have a practical conversation, especially because of my experience. Down the road in litigation, I see when good intentions or estate plans go wrong. So I am able to bring that to my planning. So I think it's important to find an attorney that you feel comfortable with, has the right experience, and that can explain things to you in a way that you're really going to understand and that you feel comfortable talking to them, right?
Right. Absolutely. Well, awesome. I sincerely appreciate your time and you doing this interview with me. I think it's super helpful. I'm sure my audience will love it. And I will include all of your contact information if anyone ever wants to reach out to you or has any questions. But super helpful, very informative. I really appreciate it. So thank you.
You're welcome. This was fun.
Yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode of my vlog. I hope you found it as informative as I did. I know that it's time for me to do an estate planning checkup of my own estate planning documents that I've created several years ago. With that, if you have any questions for me, or you can reach out to me anytime. And if you'd like to get in touch with Jessica, here is her website and contact information. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care.